I guess in terms of this session now, fourth and final for you, talking about speech analytics today, and we're kind of anchoring everything around the FourNet CX framework, if you will. So, well, I know you've talked to everyone else, so I can kind of put this in a bit more context now. So Adam was talking a lot about the operational environment and optimizing the people in place to ensure that your foundations are set well. My focus is going to be on agent-facing technology, more specifically speech analytics and delving into real-time speech analytics as well. I'll be focusing on kind of quality and compliance, auto summary, and agent assist in terms of the functionality. But as you'll see through the kind of presentation today, there's a lot it can do. And then we've also got a whole kind of section on customer-facing technology and capabilities there as well. And some of our partners are downstairs if you want to have a chat to them. So, quick show of hands. Can I ask who here currently uses any kind of speech analytics platform? Well, I mean, you two can't get away with that. I know you do. Yeah, I think that was about 4 or 5. You might be winning, actually. So it seems like it's an audience today that don't have the technology deployed. So just to kind of, I guess, baseline everybody, what do I mean by speech analytics or interaction analytics, give it its broader title? Ultimately, what I'm talking about is an interaction between a customer and an agent that we are transcribing and identifying either through models or phrase detection what's happening during that interaction, whether it's compliant, whether it's not, whether we've got identifying vulnerable characteristics for customers, whether a sale is being promoted, many different things, but ultimately adding structure to that unstructured data. We've then got what we do with it afterwards. So the idea here is that, I guess from a real-time perspective, we can feed that back to the person during the interaction and almost stop any mistakes from happening in the first place. But we're also useful for building kind of, I guess, reporting as well, management level reporting. So probably the most popular use case there at the moment for me or for my customers, is around consumer duty and ensuring that we're measuring outcomes across the customer base and then pushing that back up so it can be used in the board reports. Now, I'm going to cheat in my presentation and play a video. So just to explain what you're about to see before it goes. So as an organization, we work with a number of different speech vendors. And for us, it's about identifying the right one for the scenario. This is one of our partners. And just to explain what's going to come up here. So we've got a compliance element. So these are the things that have to be said during the interaction or have to be there. And they can change during the course of the conversation as well to be contextual. We also, you'll see those getting ticked off, as we go through it. There's then events. So the idea here is that we're linking through to different databases, different sources of information to present what's relevant to the agent at that time, save them having to dig through knowledge bases and the like. For the purpose of the demo today, you'll see a link through to our website that will just kind of come up here, but it can go through to things like knowledge bases or even to automation systems like your first chat. And then there's a little surprise at the end as well. Okay, I'm going to play, and in about 3 or 4 seconds, I'm going to look for nods on audio working.
Good afternoon, thanks for calling First Insurance. You're through to Louise, how can I help?
Yeah, hi. I'm after a quote for a car I'm thinking of picking up at weekend.
Okay, have you done a quotation online?
No, I haven't. I just want to do it over the phone if that's all right.
Okay, have you had a quote from us previously?
No, I've not had a quote from you before. It's the first time.
All right, that's fine. Okay, can I have your surname, please?
Your surname is Taylor, Taylor.
Perfect, and your date of birth?
Date of birth, 1st of January 1979.
Okay, that's fine. And what was the make or model of the car that you're looking for a quote for, please?
It's a Toyota Corolla.
And the registration number, please?
HJ71
yeah.
UHM.
Okay, I'm just going to pop you on hold while I get a quote. Is that okay?
Yeah, no worries.
Okay, 1 second. Okay, thanks for waiting. The best offer I can give you today is £97.56, and that is for fully comprehensive cover.
All right. Yeah, that's more expensive than I've got elsewhere. Yeah, I guess I'll just give you a call back if I want to go ahead, okay?
All right, well, we do appreciate customer feedback. Please, could you complete a survey at the end of the call?
Oh, right, yeah, if I have to, yeah.
Okay, that's fine. Is there anything else I can help you with?
I don't think so.
Okay, thanks for your call today.
Yeah, no worries, cheers. See ya.
All right, thank you.
Bye.
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 Probably not a promoter, I'm guessing. Bonus marks for anyone who can find the guy downstairs in the stands as well. So, as you saw there, we were going through it. They had that visual aid for the agent to be able to tick off the compliance areas, but also present, in this instance, the website. But the idea was that if it was we were quoting for something, we could bring up that quoting portal and then take the relevant actions that we need to without having to kind of, I guess, navigate through 50 different systems. The surprise at the end is this little bit here. So I think this is huge when it comes to the use of this technology. So this is the summary of the call. So this is leveraging the LLMs that are native within this platform. And instead of asking the agent after every interaction to disposition it, select the third on the list and how useful is the data, the system itself is taking the transcript, running it through an LLM, and pulling back a summary, which can be configured as well for each environment, and then ultimately present it to the agent. We're an advocate of keeping the agent in the loop at this stage. So for them to review, push it into the CRM, either however that might work, copy and paste, or push it through kind of some of the APIs, but ultimately save the agent the effort of typing all the notes after the interaction and allow them to get on with what they're supposed to be doing, which is talking to the customers. So that is massive when it comes to the deployment of this and actually building the business case as well. So just going to click on. So I just want to talk as well just a little bit about the kind of broader interaction analytics use cases that we see in the market at the moment. So I've laboured probably the auto wrap and contact summary piece. I think that is huge, and it frankly changes the way that you approach these type of projects now as well. I guess historically, quality assurance automation has always been the hot topic in this area. I referenced it earlier, the idea that listening to 4 calls per agent per month is good enough. It just doesn't cut it anymore, frankly. So what you're able to do is assess 100% of interactions, but roughly about 78% of the criteria normally, and kind of supercharge the human to then take the corrective actions if they need to, or bury down further into the data if they want to do some investigation. And that's massive. And things like consumer duty for those in FS, that's where we're seeing a big link up for the monitoring the compliance. There are other pieces in here, and I just want to talk a little bit about some of the kind of future-looking ones, so the kind of bottom L there, if you will. But I'll group together real-time translation and voice-driven automation. So this was really kind of looking at, rather than speech analytics and interaction analytics in isolation, is what can we be doing to combine it with other capabilities, other technologies, to be more valuable to the organization. And this is where you spoke to Josh and Al to start with. I think that there'll be some real development in the kind of coming months, years, etc. So real-time translation is really cool. The idea of making every agent multilingual, enabling them to converse with any customer, voice to text, text to voice, etc., and cutting out the need to ring through to a phone line elsewhere that offers that service. I think voice-driven automation. So we saw an example there of linking through to a website or a claims portal, whatever it might be. But what if we could link through to a button that says, send the confirmation email, send the confirmation text, write the report, done. And then again, all focused on getting the agent back to talking to the customers and adding the value in the human interaction. Again, I see that as quite an area that's going to develop quite a lot over the kind of coming year. And then finally, RAG, so retrieval augmented generation. So those that have used speech analytics probably know it's quite labor intensive to set it up to begin with. So there's a lot of building, testing, making sure it's doing what it's supposed to do. And then every 3 to 6 months, you have to maintain that system and make sure, again, you're feeding the right information back. RAG changes the game a little bit here. So instead of having to hard code all your queries, you can leverage the LLMs, load in your compliance documents, and then ask the system if you're compliant based on that criteria. So obviously a bit of prompt engineering, but ultimately what you're doing is you're changing the way that you consider compliance, and then you're making it a hell of a lot easier to maintain in the future, and it's not hard coded. So it's not a binary yes, no. We're going and reviewing documents and making a judgment on it, so more effectively highlighting the risk. So I think that's massive. I know there's some guys here that have spent a lot of time building speech categories in their lives. So we'll appreciate the benefit that that's going to bring. And that's really kind of leading edge stuff at the moment. So I wanted to talk now about just a kind of couple of case studies, really. So the first one is for a pensions provider, and their particular focus was on the identification of vulnerable customers. So as we all know, you know, your agent's probably navigating a few different systems, asking them to complete tasks, whilst also subtly listing out for queues that they, you know, for some kind of vulnerable characteristic. In this particular organisation, I think it was about 5 to 10%-ish of the, customers were manually being tagged as vulnerable. When the system was implemented, and we've got 81 different categorizations of different types of vulnerability, it immediately identified that it was actually more like 19%. And again, those in financial services, the PS24-2 that's coming in November the 4th, I think, changes the definition of vulnerability as well. So where, I guess, traditionally you might have been in that 5 to 10% boundary, it's going to be more like 50 to 55%. So the idea of identifying the customers so you can do the right thing for them is just going to kind of, I guess, up itself in terms of the focus from the FCA there. Some of the other things that this organisation were looking for: increased survey volumes, so things that we're asking the agents to do during the interaction. And clearly, if you can add a structure, you can monitor it through that as well. The next one is, I guess just step back. I've spoken a lot today about the compliance monitoring elements and how we can ensure people are doing what we expect them to be doing and supporting them to do so as well. Ultimately, once you've, I guess, got the technology in place, there's many different things you can do with it. And for this particular example, this is in a sales environment, but you might be looking to collect more cash. And you've got agent A and agent B, and one might be better than the other, but ultimately you don't really know why. It might be because either they're trying really hard, but they're just not very good at it, or they're not trying at all, and when they do try, they're really successful. It's very difficult to understand that split without analysing the data at scale. So what you're able to do with this is understand that what behaviours lead to the outcomes that you're looking for, and not only analyse them across your estate, but also then alert them to the agents in real time to ensure that they're taking the actions that most likely lead to the outcome that you're looking for. So I think that was a kind of really cool use case, and equally from a compliance point of view, what we saw from independent testing of the compliance in that environment as well is that it went up from 84% to 92% equally as well. So that's that one. Okay, next slide is pretty plain, if I'm honest, but I think it's probably one of the most important ones, because I'm going to go back to auto summary and sound like a bit of a broken record, but I cannot exaggerate enough how important this is to the use of speech analytics and building the business case. So typically what these systems cost is about 5 to 10% the cost of a call, roughly, and that's the kind of full functionality, so your auto summary or auto QA and all that fun stuff. And in a normal contact center environment, if you can reduce your wrap time by 50%, which frankly we've got case studies of customers doing so, clearly it depends on what your post-call activity involves, but if you can reduce it by 50% and it costs you the 5-10%, then it's already paying for itself out of the box and enabling those extra kind of compliance features to be deployed as and when they're ready, and less of a rush on it being available day one, and a whole load of process re-engineering before you meet your business case. So, as I say, I cannot overestimate that enough of how important that is now to speech analytics and the capability in the industry and the real-time use cases of it. So, for just the last minute then, that says report under the AA piece there, but ultimately we obviously, this is number 4 now, right? So you've probably had an offer from everybody to book a meeting. I'm trying to go a step further. So if you, for your organisation, if you have a company report, or if you have an objectives document or a strategy document that we were able to get hold of online, we have mapped that capability, mapped the speech analytics capability to that document to tell you how speech analytics can help you meet your own objectives. So it's a bespoke report for all the organisations that we could get hold of the reports for. And if you want to get hold of your reports, you know where this is going, then just have to book the meeting with me, and I'll happily hand that over to you. And there you go, that's me.